Okay, so I didn't really know where to start with this because I'm new to creating any kind of channel. Um, my office is a mess, so clearly this wasn't really planned, but I have been really called to just tell my story and hope that it resonates with other people who are on some kind of journey spiritually, I don't know, emotionally, career wise, with family. And before I even hit record, I just asked Spirit for what's my energy for this? Like, what am I going to do here? And I pulled Ace of Cups because this is definitely new for me. Um, so if you're new to this channel, so am I. My name is Michelle, and this all started a long time ago, but I'm going to make this brief because it's late. I'm tired. Just getting over a virus, but it's just been knocking on my door. I've really felt this need to put this out here. So this is the beginning of this new path for me. Um, and I can't wait to get feedback from you all and really just release a lot that has been built up. So I'll make this intro quick. But what led me to this chair in this office, which I am currently redecorating because I'm starting my own venture, was I was recently let go on my birthday a few weeks ago, which was quite frankly the best and biggest birthday present I could have ever received. And leading up to that, I had actually just started the job a few months prior, knowing that it just didn't feel right. And I remember just praying and asking Spirit, asking my guides, like, I got to find a way out of this, because I knew it wasn't going to work. And sure enough, my boss at the time, one of my bosses, called me into her office, and we were trying to figure out how to make the situation work when I knew it just wasn't going to. And she had inadvertently sent some kind of email that I received telling me, it basically was a communication that they were looking for someone to fill my position, which was not what had been discussed whatsoever. So I, of course, as I've been told, I'm kind of bold on things, and I sent her an email response saying, "Hey, I got this for you." So what I have done for so many years is I've been an executive assistant, um, which a lot of people will look at as, they do scheduling, they retrieve the mail, but it's so much more than that. And I assist usually the head founders of companies, and I have been in a very fortunate position to have assisted some extremely powerful people, which I cannot necessarily say who they are because there's a lot around that, but it's really close to assisting some of the most powerful people you could think of, at least in the United States. And some of these people are just, yeah. But what made me good at my job was not the scheduling and all of that. It was me being able to really see the bigger picture of things. And what was really funny about that is when people would take my advice, take whatever counsel I could give them, because I was able to see all of their blind spots, all of these things that they just didn't see. The people who were able to really listen to me, not just give me a seat at the table. I earned seats at tables, but really listen to my input and use that to make their companies better. They did very well. And COVID changed a lot of things in terms of the business that I worked for. And I've been very fortunate to have supported some really amazing people. One in particular who just showed me how to bring out the best in not just employees, but in people, because they lived by their values. And there was true heart to everything they did. And they made it very clear that if you couldn't embody those values, you probably shouldn't be at that company, because their standard was so high that, it was expected that you conduct yourself just as a good human, not just at work, but in all parts of your life. And that was really inspiring. And I'm lucky to still have that person in my life today as a mentor, who, if this person sees this, they'd probably be like, what? But they would know exactly who they are, because I just admire them so much. And I'll maybe talk about that later. But after that, I ended up at companies that people would have dreamed of. And I've had these positions that people would have just dreamed to have, and I was never fulfilled. So I would leave and go to something that I thought would be better. And I couldn't figure out why it just wasn't working. And my old employer even said, you're really good at your job. Like, why isn't this working? And I couldn't figure it out. And I had this huge epiphany about a year ago, maybe a little bit less than that, just maybe about 9 months ago, that I call it an epiphany, but I always knew I had grown out of things there. It wasn't serving me. And I feel like what I'm about to say, I hope resonates with people. If it doesn't, then maybe it will one day. Maybe it doesn't. Just, you can say goodbye. Maybe you want to listen on a little bit. But I realized that what makes a company successful is empowering your people to be their best and to do their best. It's not telling you that you have to work from this time to this time. I've watched this person that I worked for during COVID, during the worst times. They were willing to move heaven and earth to continue working for this person, because their spirit, who they were, was genuinely just amazing. They cared about every single person that worked for them. And this was not a company that employed like 20, 50, 100 people. I mean, this person had a lot of employees throughout the nation. And he knew everyone's name, knew about them, knew what they liked, what they didn't like, knew what their interests were. He cared, and still does to this day. He set the bar really high. And at first I thought, I'm never going to see anything like that again. And I realized it's because a lot of the ways that people have learned to admire other people is through their money, through their positions, through their power. There's no value to really just being a good person. And what I really started to notice after COVID was when everything had to stop, when things were silent, and people got to just be them for a minute, so much beauty came out of it, along with a lot of pain. But we started seeing that, hey, things don't have to be this way. Things don't have to be the way that they are. I don't have to beg for a bathroom break. I don't have to beg for this one thing. I can go and take my laptop and be the best me and the best employee possible, because I'm starting to get that freedom. And the facade of what you had to do started to crumble. And a lot of people became inspired. And I think that also really shifted the way that I thought. I was used to going into the office. I didn't even have to, but I would choose to, because I knew I could get some peace and quiet there. I could do, this best work that I needed to do for whatever client we were dealing with or whatever project I might have been working on. I chose to do things because I loved the environment created by the collective employees there, by everyone. Everyone had stake in the game. Everyone was empowered to do their best and be their best. And when that left, due to a lot of different circumstances, I got to go out and see what was going on again. And I found myself not really bouncing from job to job, but realizing that it was getting harder, not because I wasn't good at my job, but because it was no longer for me. And in doing a lot of this, and then later on dealing with some painful situations in life that we all have gone through, some deaths, some illnesses with very much loved ones, um, I started really thinking about my spirituality again. And I had a lot of aha moments, and they were back to back to back to back. And I became very inspired, of course, by some of the tarot readers that I saw on YouTube. And some things started to really hit home. I started watching, of course, Next Level Soul, Soulful Revolution, White Feather Tarot, Sacred Shaman, 13 Moon, and just becoming really inspired and thinking, hey, I need to start getting in touch with things again, with my spirit, with what this path might mean for me. As it happens, my sister is really into astrology and Reiki and Master Reiki. She has a lot of knowledge and experience. And she started walking me through my astrology, and I started tuning into that too. Don't really understand it that well. It's not the easiest, but I really started going back into what I used to want to do as a kid, which was tarot. And I always felt called that I always felt as a kid that I needed to communicate, needed to say something, or I just didn't know what my path was going to be. And then growing up in a very Christian, strict family, it was always a no. And so I went down the usual route that, you think you have to go down. And I excelled in school, went to an Ivy League university, I've had amazing positions, and have done very well for myself. But when things started to really falter, I had to question why. And it goes back to when my old boss said, why is this not working? And I realized it's not working because it was no longer serving me. I learned what I needed to learn in those positions. And I was looking at White Feather Tarot today. It was about what the universe wanted to reveal to you. And the reading just broke down step by step every single thing that I knew to be true and every experience that I had. And Reem is amazing. And I'm not throwing these channels or anything out there just because without knowing it, a lot of people on YouTube have helped me really have such clarity. And it wasn't serving me anymore. And I knew each time I was going to get a position, I've always been able to go and feel. All I had to do is step onto the complex, the office, meet the person, and I knew immediately this is going to be my job. Whether I wanted it or not, I knew. And I knew it was going to keep getting harder every time I took a new job. Didn't matter how much it paid. And they have offered, some places really just offer obscene amounts of money for you to do just nothing. And I mean, when I tell you nothing, I've been paid, well, 6 figures to pick up sunglasses when that wasn't my passion. I'm good at what I've done, which is really help leadership see what's missing. And then I realized they don't want to see what's missing anymore because they don't care. They want to make money, but they don't care about everyone else. There's a part of humanity that has been so lost because of all of the greed for money and material things. I mean, none of these people read books anymore half the time. They just don't care. They don't check in with people to see how they're doing. I'll give you an example. The previous job that they let me go on my birthday, they were upset because I had to take sick time off to watch my kids. This was right when I started. The reason why my kids got sick, which they knew that one of my kids was prone to getting extremely sick and could lose his life, because we've been in and out of the hospital for things. It's because they came to work sick because they thought it was more important to get money. And I got sick. And then my child got sick. And they knew it. And I said during the interview, this could happen. But the humanity was gone there. They didn't care. They wanted to do what they wanted to do. Then they later apologized, or one of them did, and then held it against me. And I had to remind them, health is health. I did not tell them, you forget all the stuff that led to that. So I'm sorry I was out. I was still working from home while I was sick and taking care of sick children. But didn't matter. And I saw then it just wasn't going to work. Because at some point, there was no longer heart, love for humanity, for other people. It was all about, I got to get this. No matter how much they might have. And that was the end of it for me. Which led to me just hoping and praying. Even though I was going to do the best I could, please give me this birthday present. And sure enough, Spirit, God, whatever you would like to believe in, the universe answered that. And that was the end of my career as an EA. And as scary as it is, I'm happy with that because it's the beginning of this new chapter in my life that I didn't realize. It was going to come to that anyways. If I took another job being an EA, it was going to be even worse. It was just going to get harder and harder. We will always be led to where we're supposed to be. And the more we fight it, the tougher it's going to be. Which leads me to here, and I've been fighting posting this. I would rather look better and have everything put together, but just every message that I got today, everything that I saw, every card that I pulled throughout the day said, just do it. So I'm doing it. So my message right now, it's time for those of us who are really just tired of being treated like shit, of being treated like we're not human, to say, I've had enough. I want to see more heart, more positivity. I don't want to be gaslit because I'm tired of gaslighting myself. That's done. I want to see the best for people. I want to raise my children in a world where people actually care, and it doesn't all have to be about dollar signs. I want to see where people have faith in something. My mother was asking me the other day what my husband believes in. Is he religious? Which we've been married for almost 10 years. She knows damn well he's not religious. And I said, but he goes, what he aligns with is along the lines of Star Wars, which made a lot of sense. She goes, yep, I get it. My mother, who grew up in the church, Seventh-day Adventist, she was like, yeah, I get it. We all believe that there is something more out there. And I have to hope that there's going to be a change because it's so palpable. I can feel a shift. And the only way I could think to just, as he always says on Next Level Soul, come out of the closet, spiritual closet, whatever you want to call it. I've seen it on YouTube. And I have taken a lot of notes, and there's so many things that resonated with me, but I forget which one it was on. It might have been Soulful Revolution, but it was, why can't you do the same? And I realized I'm holding me back. I'm the only thing holding me back. So I've gone down this chapter of starting a business, which I just got licensing for. And I feel like I've limited myself even then, which is part of the reason why I'm here. So whatever this journey is, it's going to be filled with light and love. It could just be me talking about my path. Everyone has a story to tell. But I really want my story to include everyone here who knows that there's something better that they're meant for, and that we can all create a better world that we really want to be in. Because all of this BS that we see in the news is just dying and it needs to go. I think a lot of us can agree on that. So if you take anything from this first message, besides the fact that, dude, damn, her office is a mess, which, like, again, I said I'm working on, but there's hope. And we just have to have the strength individually to see what no longer serves us. And serving people that we do not agree with, don't respect, it's not working anymore. And I actually just saw this funny video where this person was like, I just realized, why am I trying to make this generation happy when we're trying to break generational cycles, something like that. And he's just banging his head up against the steering wheel, like, trying to break this whole generational curse or whatever. So why do I keep trying to please this generation? Take that for what you will, whatever generation you're part of. But there's something that's no longer working. And I know we can all feel it. So I have decided to answer my soul's call. Wake up. And hopefully soon we can create a world where my kids can wake up each morning fulfilled with what they're doing, not worried about taking a bathroom break, not worried about taking care of their sick child, not worried about paychecks that are written by people who sometimes, quite frankly, don't have the money to write them, and that's why they ride you so hard, because there's something else hidden there, which was also part of my job that I was really good at noticing. Like I said, I see the blind spots, I can read between the lines, and I can read the bullshit, and I don't like it. And I think that made people uncomfortable too, which I'll probably get into at some other point. But for now, I hope this resonates. I don't know where this is going to go, but I look forward to the journey. And now it's time for me to get some rest and wake up to a new hopeful day tomorrow.